this, just in case. Okay, so let me push this over here. So I have Henry Jackson, who was able to attend from Ocean, Jennifer Appleby from Middlesex, and Edam Teta, if I'm saying that right, Kathy, I hope that's right, from Rowan College at Burlington. And Jennifer's not typically part of our group, so I don't want to have to keep her on for the whole time. But I saw, Jennifer, that you were logged in. So if you wouldn't mind, could you share with the group a little bit about the experience from that conference, maybe a few key takeaways that could be helpful for our college readiness speakers, so that they might be able to apply some of it for their own programs?
Sure. So I've attended AMATIC in the past, and it's a great conference for faculty. There's a lot of teaching ideas, anything ranging from projects that you could do in statistics classes to talking about what schools around the country are doing in their developmental programs to open educational resources. And one great opportunity AMATIC has that I was a previous participant in and a mentor with this year is a program called Project Access, which is for new full-time faculty at the community college level. I believe they've extended it to within their first few years. So it's always fun to talk to the Access fellows to see, the new faculty perspective. And I'll say of the sessions that I went to that I think could be applicable across all schools was one talking about preparing students for careers in mathematics. And I learned of a program that maybe people are aware of, sponsored by the MAA called PIC Math, P-I-C, which you can look up on the MAA's website or Google it, which stands for Preparing Students for Industrial Careers in Mathematical Sciences. And they have a whole program where faculty can come and be trained and to run a course, like an industrial course with their students where they solve some problem of practice in industry. So they have partnered with all types of industries and they have projects available, or they have, they ask the faculty to find people in their local areas to work with, and they assist with that. So they train faculty, provide a stipend for faculty, and then give an opportunity for students to participate in a real hands-on mathematical experience. And they're definitely interested in community college students participating in this as well. They've had more 4-year schools than 2-year schools participate. So I thought that was an exciting opportunity. And this type of conference is great because you hear about those things that we might not hear about while we're here in New Jersey.
Great. Thank you. So it's PIC, P-I-C?
P-I-C Math, and it's sponsored by the MAA, so the Mathematical Association of America. And they have a summer institute, so I think the applications for any faculty who would be interested for the 2019-2020 year, it looked like the applications are due sometime in the spring. But there's more information there if anyone has math faculty who might be interested in that type of thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for Jennifer while she's our guest? I did mute a bunch of you just because of the back feed. So if you're talking, just make sure you're unmuted. Okay. And I think I saw Henry on the line too. Henry, are you still there? Oh, my names aren't popping up.
There we go. I'm back now.
Okay.
I was muted. Sorry.
As well, and then maybe you and Jennifer, if you have more to say about it. But can you give your perspective, Henry, for the group?
I actually thought this was a very good conference. It had a lot of good information. I mostly went to look at statistics because that's our out course that we're offering. So I wanted to get some ideas about incorporating statistics into the high school out courses. But again, they shared a lot of information. Some of the stuff was a little over my head because I'm not a math person, so I had to like scooch out of some of the rooms.
Now we know what our students go through, right?
I know, right? But yeah, I would like to. I'm trying to get some of my math staff to go next year, but I would like to go back. I think they had a lot of good ideas and they're doing a lot of good things. One of the interesting things that I did encounter was the Mid-Atlantic group. So what they did for lunch is they broke us up to the regional groups. We actually have a vice president of AMATIC that oversees the regional area. I think it's made up of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and New York, I think was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then I also got a lot of good information. I didn't realize Brookdale was so involved in AMATIC. They got an award
Oh,
for their math league program that they had. Yeah, that was so. I was sitting there and it's like Brookdale Community College wins the award for their math league, I think it's called. So that was
that's
like
awesome.
wow.
Congratulations, Sabrina. Sabrina's on the call. You can take credit for that, Sabrina. Congrats.
Yeah. So congratulations for that. But yeah, it was a very good conference. Like I said, I would like to go back if we get the chance again, because it had a lot of good information that I could share. There's a new program that I learned about called R Series, which is a statistical program that provides students with already developed data, or you can put in and create your own data. So there was a lot of their programs around statistics were focusing on like using live data rather than having the students trying to go find something. There's a lot of websites out there that has a lot of live data that you can go right and find and then kind of implement it into the classroom. So the students will really be doing scientific research rather than just kind of sitting in the statistics class and talking about it. They actually are encouraging more faculty to go out and actually have their students do the actual data collection and project, almost like a dissertation, not as much, but like a real live research study. So I thought that was interesting.
That's very cool. That's awesome. Jennifer,
I was going to say, may I add two things really quickly to what Henry just said, is that, yes, Brookdale often, they have AMATIC sponsors a student math league competition, and Brookdale always represents well for the Mid-Atlantic region, so that was not unexpected, but it's great. People could reach out to them if they wanted a student math league on their campuses, and they also, AMATIC is starting a research league as well for students doing research in the area of mathematics, and I don't recall who won the award, where the awards went for that. That's a newer initiative. And then I wanted to jump on so we have the Mid-Atlantic AMATIC, but then there is MATIC-ING, which is the New Jersey version of AMATIC. And MATIC-ING has a fairly large meeting in the fall and a smaller meeting that may be combined with MAA in the spring. I'm not sure that the details have been worked out, but all of the campuses should have a MATIC-ING representative. And so it's a great opportunity for faculty to present locally or to go and see, have conversations with the other New Jersey math folks. And I've actually been to NISMATIC, New York's conference, and they have a nice 2-day conference in the spring if any faculty are looking to go to something a little more local.
That's awesome.
And also, just to say one more thing, the AMATIC Association is really looking into developing college pathways for the mathematics area. So that's something that was new this year that they spoke about. But I think that's something as the NJCCC starts looking towards pathways, especially for the math area, they might want to, start looking at what the AMATIC is doing since it's so new, just started this year.
That's awesome. Thank you both. That's great information. Does anybody have any questions for Henry or Jennifer while we're talking about math? Okay, I tried to write some of those things down so when I send out notes, I'll try to remember all those acronyms. I found out that I was calling AMATIC the wrong thing too. But I think I got it's AMATIC ING. Jennifer, is that what you said? Is ING?
MATIC, it's NG, so it's MATYC. NJ as in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very easy to say. Delmatic has it much easier than we do.
All right, I'll look it up and I'll try to include that in the notes for everybody. Awesome. All right, well, if there's no questions, Jennifer, you're welcome to leave the call. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your feedback. But you're welcome to.
Oh, and then actually, Don, in next year's conference is in Salt Lake City, Utah, for anyone who's interested.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
And proposals are due, if any of your faculty want to present at the poster session, proposals are due February 1st. And
wow.
Now I'm going to leave. So thank you very much.
You're welcome to stay, but thank you so much, Jennifer.
Okay, have a great day, everyone.
Take care, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
All right, awesome. Actually, so I'm going to jump a little bit. Henry, do you want to share with the group what you just emailed me? Because I just got it, and I have it here. Would you like to speak about that?
Yes, I'm on a roll today, huh, Donna?
Yeah, it's the Henry Show.
Yes, the Partners for Connections in Education. It's a group. They're actually out of. They do a lot of their work out of Pennsylvania, but in April they have a conference, a Bridges conference down in Cape May. It's really nice. It's actually at the perfect time because you don't have to pay for parking if you come down to Cape May. They actually do that purposefully. But it's a 3-day conference, I believe. And actually, Donna and I are going to. Donna, your presentation was accepted. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
also, I was accepted as well. So Donna and who's presenting with you, Donna?
Eric Taylor from the Office of the Secretary of Higher Ed.
Yes. So Donna and Eric are going to be presenting about our ALPS program throughout the 19 community colleges and how we're incorporating ALPS into the high schools. And then mine is going to focus on our program that we're doing at OCC. We're doing a math one this year, so I want to try to talk a little bit more about the math. And then we're also going to do another English under the College Readiness Now 5 grant. But it's a great conference, a great day. You get to see a lot of people from all over. It's not just Pennsylvania. Some people travel as far as California and Midwest to come to this conference. A lot of good information. Last year, Microsoft was there talking about how they're trying to push into education and try to alleviate a lot of the administrative duties that we have to do through their software and kind of let us get more back to teaching. But a very informative conference. Have a lot of good, presentations and different activities that they offer. So, if anyone's interested, I would definitely recommend you look into this. And then within my email, I sent a code. If you put that code in, affiliate code, you can get a discount on your registration.
Hey, Henry, I just saw on the flyer they actually highlighted the work that everybody's doing. Developmental Ed meets dual enrollment out for high school students. So congratulations, everybody. You made the flyer.
Also, they have Ed Ready. They're doing something on Ed Ready, too.
Oh, there you are. Look at that. Awesome. And so Henry shared there's an affiliate code for a discount, Connect 2019. I have it pulled up on the screen for those who are calling in. And it's actually a very reasonable conference rate, I would say. So thank you, Henry. Any questions for Henry about that conference? I'll include that when I send out email notes as well. Okay. All right. Awesome. So just as a reminder, the other professional development that the grant is helping to sponsor next will be the National Association for Developmental Education, and that's in March in Atlanta, Georgia. And you can see those who will be attending from the various colleges. I have not received every college's request to send someone. So if I haven't received anything from you, I have emailed to you as the lead individually. So if you can get those back as soon as possible, especially for NAID, the registration is February 13th, but the hotel is actually already filling up. So for those who are on the line, if you haven't booked your hotel yet, please do so to secure your space. So you can see who's going to be representing New Jersey at NAID on behalf of the College Readiness, which is really great. And then we have the New Jersey Writing Alliance in May that will be hosting one person to attend. And then the last conference will be the Conference on Acceleration in Developmental Education. So some very similar people who attended last year. I believe the call for proposals will be opening up for that. So we did present last year on the ALP model, but feel free to present on or submit a proposal for anything that's of interest related to the work that we're doing with college readiness, just to bring more attention to the great work that you're all doing here in New Jersey. But I just at least wanted you to see who's going to what, and that way you can touch base with those colleagues to learn more, and certainly we'll have future calls where they can share just like we had Henry and Jennifer share about Amatic. So we know we can only support sending one person from each college, but we will all benefit when they return from hearing about the resources and the applicability to what we're doing here in New Jersey. Before I move on from those, does anybody else have any other professional development opportunities they want to share with the group like Henry just shared? Anything that you are aware of or think would be good for others to maybe consider attending or sharing with their colleagues? You might be muted.
I have, what's this? I forgot. NROC conference in March.
Yep.
It's in Monterey.
You're attending that one, right? I think you.
Yes, I am. I'm actually presenting there.
Oh, awesome. Good luck, Henry.
They've also asked me to be a part of their planning committee.
Will you be presenting on the work that you were doing with NROC through college readiness?
Yes, I'm presenting on my work that I'm doing with them. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for representing us in that. I think Shay from Raritan Valley is attending that conference as well.
That's a great conference, everybody. It's in Monterey, California. You can't like not like that place.
Are you saying it's great because of the location or because of all the amazing learning that you're going to have?
Oh no, we're in the conference all day, but the hotel has such a great view that you don't even need to go out of the hotel. Really, you're going to be able to see a great view from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Henry. Any other conferences or even anything that's local that anybody might want to share? Maybe roundtables or drive-ins? Did I hear someone? Nope. Okay. I did want to, oh, yes. I can't tell if someone's trying to talk. Okay, sorry. You can put things in the chat too if you want to share or if you have links. I did want to follow up from our September 27th meeting with Dr. Barnett. I did want to share, I know I had emailed it out, but I think if I remember right, John Lopez had asked about if there was any kind of agreements out there between colleges and the high schools. And we don't have anything official that people need to use, but Sabrina was great enough. Hearing some like back feed. If you wouldn't mind muting yourself. Just, I can hear somebody. This is always like the fun part. Okay. All right, so if you did not see that, I will bring it up again for you. Sabrina was great to create this. Again, you don't have to use it. It might be a nice guide. But this did come up from the meeting, so I did want to make sure I followed up with you to let you know Sabrina did some work on her own to create this. So it's just sort of it's not legally binding, but it could be good to help in the conversation with the high schools and sort of what you're going to be doing as the college provided services, but then also what we hope that the high school is doing so that this is a true partnership, that it's not, hey, we're coming in, we're going to do all this, you just sit back and relax, we got this. The goal of the grant is to really develop true partnerships. So who does what and who's responsible for which pieces of that so that we get more participation and more excitement about the work that we're doing. So Sabrina, thank you for creating this. I know she's on the line. But I did email this out previously, but I'll send it out again. And if you want to use it, feel free, or if you want to tweak it, or if you have something on your own campuses. But it was actually a really good idea that was brought up in September, so I didn't want to lose sight of that. And just, again, another reminder. So I'll shrink that. Another thing that came up from our meeting, people had asked, and I can't recall who asked, about AccuPlacer test score cutoffs. Like what are people actually using to determine college readiness through their colleges? So I know we have, and I gave you at the meeting, and it's on our website, and I've given you the link about what the college presidents have used for multiple measures and what the ranges are for the scores. But a lot of you wanted to really know what are actual schools doing. So I did hear from most, and I do have this document that was kind of taken from the SurveyMonkey about what the different colleges are using for their cut scores to determine true college ready for English and true college ready for math. So not ALP models or, you know, the co-requisites. Like, I just wanted like clear cutoff. So I was able to get some information from these schools, and we'll send that out to you as well if it can be helpful for you in your own planning purposes. I know that was a question that came up. So these are the, you know, I got some responses. I didn't hear from everybody, but I'll send you what I have thus far. And then that can be used for whatever purposes you had requested. Does anybody have any questions about the agreement or the AccuPlace or cut scores that came up from the meeting? Okay. If you do, you can always let me know. Oh, go ahead.
I don't have a question, Donna, but I'll send you Oceans right after the meeting.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you. So if you didn't have a chance to do it, I would love to add it. So you can go back into that survey and just complete it. It should be hopefully pretty quick. Or maybe somebody from your testing center, you can send them the link. It's just like the true cut. Now, again, not the co-rec, but just true what your college is determining as college ready. So some people put in like, we're using this cut score, or we're doing nothing at all, that kind of a thing. So. Yeah, of course. Someone asked about the cut score sheet. Yeah, it's going to get sent out to everybody, but Kristen, if I have you on my list, I'll make sure I send it out. Yep, this will all go out to everybody. Everything I'm showing you, everybody will get. Okay, awesome. So thank you, Henry, for sending those. And then just a little reminder about the new data that needs to be collected again. So, you know, I had sent you all out not long after the September meeting on the, there was the toolkit, one of the toolkits I gave you, there was some from Achieving the Dream. There were some samples of intake forms that some colleges are using to get some information from students. So I sent that out to you in a previous email that you could use if you haven't created an intake form already for when you're getting your students to enroll or to participate. Just again, as a reminder, it's in these notes and you'll get it again. It's just the new data we need to collect for CRN 5, just a little bit more disaggregated data. Some things you've already been asked to do, but we've added gender, first generation, and race and ethnicity. So if you could capture that data, we'll be asking for that information for the next set of reports so that we can report that back to the state. I did want to also share with you, I know a lot of you have just kind of started, but some of you have already spent money according to your interim reports, which was great. So just a quick introduction. This will all get sent out again in email about what needs to happen for the reimbursements. So if you started any programs in summer and fall, we do a reimbursement for that, and then we do another reimbursement when all is said and done in the summer. So if you have any expenses that you've already accumulated, we will gladly reimburse at this point for those expenses. If you want to wait and do everything in July, that's fine. But if you have the receipts for now, we can certainly reimburse partially what you've been allotted for CRN 5. So I do have, you know, the guidelines. We've used this in the past before, but pretty much what, again, is acceptable. So this pretty much emulates what's already in the guidelines document that you received. But and if you were involved with CRN last year, the forms are exactly the same. So you would pretty much submit what your expenses were. And in the reimbursement form here, under personnel or fringe or consultants, travel, whatever it might be, this information should be exactly the same as what you were approved from the OSHI. So literally, you can just copy and paste when I emailed you back your approved budget so that when Megan in our office is paying it, it's an exact match of what was approved. So if you didn't put textbooks in, but now you're asking for a reimbursement of textbooks, that means we actually have to change your original request because that was never officially approved. So we can't reimburse for things that were never officially approved. So just, what I usually do is I have both up at the same time, and you just kind of cross-check everything, and then that's how you're collecting your receipts. It's not a problem to change proposals or budgets as we go, because we know that this is a moving target and you're working with enrollment and those kinds of things. But what's on the reimbursement should not be a surprise compared to what was already approved. But if there was a new expense that happened to come up, not a problem. We'll just have to change the other documentation so that everything matches. And then similarly with the accounting of personnel time. So some of you might be using a percentage of someone's time. So you can put that in here now, or you can wait until July, or if you've already paid people. The biggest thing is this is a reimbursement process. So it can't be, we put a purchase order in, but we never paid it yet because it hasn't come in yet. So it's anything that's actually already been paid for. So we'll reimburse for that. And that's only if you have anything from summer and fall. If you don't, this doesn't apply to you, and then we'll just tie things up this summer when the grant cycle concludes. Is there any questions about the reimbursements or the paperwork? So make sure when I send this out, I'm sorry, this is 4. When I send this out that you're using the right forms that say 2018, 2019, CRN 5. Some people have submitted some older forms. We've updated these forms a little bit. So please make sure that they actually say CRN 5 on them. Any questions about the funding or reimbursements? And this is going to apply for later too. So all similar, all this similar. These forms are going to be the same. So you'll see here it says summer or summer fall or spring summer. It's exact same forms. It's just that you can get reimbursed now or you can get reimbursed at the end. Does anybody have any questions about expenses at this point? Make sure everyone's in good shape. You're muted if you have a question. Everything is so super clear. No one has any questions. That's awesome. Okay. All right. So then I'll shrink that. So you're going to get that all emailed to you too. So for some of you, I know you send some of this to like your grants people. So feel free when I email you afterwards to send whoever needs any information their way. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to allow some time for open conversation among all of you to help each other out. Sometimes you're calling me and saying, I need help. Who's doing what? And I've tried to connect you among yourselves so that you can find some other allies in the state that are going through the same things. Like Jeremy and I'm calling you out on here, Jeremy. Jeremy and I were chatting separately. He's doing everything. So, but Warren, congratulations, welcome. Warren has not done CRN the last 2 years, so we're excited to welcome you back to the CRN family. And Warren is actually doing a similar program to Salem. So I think I saw Ken on the line, so tried to connect Ken and Jeremy with each other so that they can maybe help each other out because their programs are very, very similar. So just wanted to allow some time for that. But before I open it up for everybody, I did want to share with you what's really super cool is I crunched the numbers based on your proposals. And for CRN 5, we're expected to serve, based on what you told me, almost 3,500 students, which is really awesome because compared to CRN 4, we served 2,700 students. And you're doing this with the same amount of money and 1 extra college. So last year we had 18 colleges. So that's a huge increase using the same amount of funding. So congratulations for really working hard on your budgets and your program design and with your staff to serve both the math and the English needs, but also all of those wonderful wraparound services that you all were really strategic You know, you're incorporating more academic advising, more career coaching, more workshops, incorporating financial aid. Even with all those additional services, you're still able to support more students. So kudos for the work that you are engaging in right now. We'll see how things pan out. I know some of you are a little nervous about your enrollments with your colleges, with your high schools, but I have 100% confidence that you have great relationships developed from last year. So this is really fantastic to see that you're anticipating serving 3,400 students. I also do want to share with you, which is really cool, is that 14 of you as colleges are going to implement the accelerated learning program in the high school. Last year we had 9 of the 18. So we had half last year, and now we have more than half this year. So that's really, really exciting that we have 5 more colleges that are interested in this idea. So what's interesting too is, you know, with the accelerated learning program, you need the co-rec model, which needs extra funding, which needs extra wraparound services. And even with 14 of the 19 of you doing it, again, you're still able to serve more students using the same amount of money. So congratulations again on bringing the ALP model to the high schools, because last year's data, we saw it works. The data for the students who were doing the ALP, 70% completion rate for the math and almost the same amount for English, which is fantastic. So I wish you well with that program. It's not easy, we understand that, but I thank you, the 5 extra colleges, for trying it, and the 9 who are continuing. Hopefully you can help each other out in that. So I do want to show you, I did take all of your proposals and I broke it down. And if I'm incorrect, please let me know. But I tried to show you, and I'll send this out so you have a sense of who's doing what. It's very general, but at least you can see like who's doing boot camps, who's doing semester. Now, some of you are doing them in the summer, some of you are doing them in the fall, spring, but at least you kind of have a sense. And what I kind of wanted to do next is maybe kind of color code it a little bit so you know who's doing similar work. But I'll let you all talk among yourselves. But I did want you to see a little bit about who's doing what. Again, I'll send this out to you. So you'll see the different colleges, who's doing ALP especially, and who's doing it in what subjects. So thank you for those who are doing ALP with math, because we know that's super important, because we know math is a big barrier for our students. So the sooner we get them to embrace math, the better they will be when they come to us in the fall. So you'll see all the colleges here. Still waiting on Passaic, but I'm pretty confident. It's ALP, and I can't remember how many students. And then you'll see the others that are in here too. Okay. So you'll see we have 3401 that we're intending to help become college ready this year, which is fantastic. So thank you. And then I have a little thing in here too to show you like what I mean when I do boot camps and summer bridges. So I took a little liberty there to kind of make that decision based on the time frame that you all spoke of. But I'll send this out, and if it's incorrect, let me know. But I did base this off of your proposals. Okay. And then with that, just a little snippet from the final report from CRN4, so you can see a little bit here, again, the data that was out there, especially with the accelerated learning program. So you'll see we had great success with that. So the students were able to become college ready and earn college credits to get them on a head start. And we know that if students complete a college course while in high school, they're more likely to enroll in college and more likely to persist. So I heard from some of you in your final reports and from some conversations that you said a lot of these students, if they had not done this program, would probably not have considered college. And so we're talking almost 3,000 students that you, in my opinion, saved. So thank you for that work. And we're going to add to that number with 3,400. So thank you. So that's me being your cheerleader there. So I do want to open it up for general conversation among all of you for the rest of our time. And then I'll conclude. I just have a couple of resources to share and just some feedback about how this center can help you. But I'd like you to unmute yourselves and have general conversation, things that people want to ask, like you know, I thought I had this high school who was excited and then they bailed, and, you know, or I'm doing ALP, but how do I do it? Or anybody know a discount code for textbooks? Whatever it might be. Please, let's use this time virtually to connect with each other. So please unmute yourselves and let's have open conversation, because I feel like I'm just talking to myself right now. Or if I need to pull up anything that you want to take a closer look at, let me know that too for conversation.
Hi, Donna. This is Till.
Hi, Till.
So, from Middlesex County College. So, part of what you discussed today was, all of it was great. I will appreciate receiving the forms and documents that you talked about, so I can share them with the rest of the team that's on the call or not on the call today. And the other thing was the example of a new intake form. That's going to be very useful if you share it with us, and then we can put the new information on it and use it.
Okay. Yeah, I sent that out previously, but I'll pull it from the former email, Till, because I can't recall if you were on that former email. But Linda, you should definitely have that, but I'll pull it so that it's all in one place again. Sure. Okay, it's telling me there's 26 people on this call right now. Everyone's in good shape? No one needs resources from anybody or any chance to lament, sing your praises? Do I have to call some people out here? Let's see.
Everyone's thinking about Christmas.
Let's see. Who do I have on the call? How about anybody?
Donna, it's all right. I'll jump in. I don't have a question, just a comment. Folks, I just want to just jump in and just thank all of you for all of your hard work in the trenches, working with the high schools, working with the students to help advance this very important work. You know, we're very fortunate in New Jersey that we have the support of Eric Taylor, who's on the line, but also our Secretary of Higher Education and our governor to support this program. It's very rare in New Jersey that, you know, 5 years ago, the legislature and the governor at the time found money to put towards this program, federal money, if I recall correctly. And then because of your hard work over time, realized that this was such a critical program and such an important step in better preparing students so that they can be successful when they arrive at college, that they found state money for this. And it's really unprecedented that we've been able to get this kind of support from the state for the past 5 years. And with the same, relatively the same type of budget, we've been able to increase, you've been able to increase the results. So I just want to thank you on behalf of all of us here at the Council of County Colleges for your hard work. We certainly know it's not easy, but we also know that the strength of the community college network is that all of us are working together to address this critical need, and that is better preparing students so that they are ready for college when they graduate high school. So I just want to thank all of you for your hard work and your dedication to this very important project.
So there was a question posed in the chat. If people want to share, Ken from Salem has asked, has anyone used an incentive program with high school students that works? Okay. I will share sort of my take.
Hi, Donna.
Oh,
Donna, How are you,
Oh,
dear?
hi,
It's
Kathleen.
Kathleen from Sussex County Community. We did, upon your recommendation, use a $25 Barnes& and Noble card for students that completed our Readiness 4 program, and that worked out very well. It gave a level of incentive for them. However, I'm always open to additional incentive ideas to motivate our students to complete and join our Summer Bridge program.
This is Kathy Briggs from RCBC. I'll also add that we used college cafeteria gift cards for the students who completed appointments with our generalist staff and then went through an advising, set up their academic plan. So for the students who decided to come to RCBC and took those steps, we did a incentive to keep them on campus and reward them once they came here. But we run a program right now that is the students' senior year, as you can see from the spreadsheet. So that's a slightly different part of the program in terms of incentivizing it, but that was one of the things that we did.
That's great. Megan Rutler wrote in from RCGC. They use gift cards for those who successfully complete, but I don't know if this made an impact or not. So I don't know if, I guess there's no, unless you do a outtake survey, like did that really encourage you to complete or not? But I think what's really great from the two examples that were just shared is that, because I know Kathleen and I talked about that, about what kind of gift cards or what kind of incentive. And what's great about the bookstore or the dining hall is that those are the needs that a lot of our low-income students need, right? So access to textbooks and access to food. So those are some great ways to also kind of help, because we know that this grant is geared towards helping our low-income students. I would also say too that I think part of the way that we package this to our students and market it and help them with the advising and the career planning is that for those, sometimes the incentive is knowing that they are on their way on a path towards completing a college degree. And so that might be how you market it as well. Like the incentive here is we are going to help you on a path to success, to complete a credential within our college. And so for some of you too who are doing the accelerated learning program, they're also going to receive college credit at no cost. And sometimes receiving the college credit plus the books at no cost is incentive enough for some of the students. I think a lot of it's going to be how you market it and package it. And that's where I think that student success component comes in. So I shared with some of you individually that doing the advising and the career planning before they even step foot into the academic piece of math or English might be what's there to help them get into the motivation to complete the course, because they know how it fits into their path and why it's important. So sometimes that might be of much more value than a gift card. But certainly these ideas are really great as some completion incentives for the students. Yeah, so Ken said he's used gift cards, but don't know if they really make any difference. So I guess that's, some food for thought there. If it doesn't really make a difference, could you use those funding for other things? Could you use that funding instead to maybe embed some tutors in the class to help the students get through? Or could you use that funding to allow a student to have a one-on-one advising session for a half hour? And instead of using that funding for the gift cards, you use that to pay the staff to sit down and have a good session with a student. Maybe that is the better use of the funds then, if you're not thinking that the completion incentive is having any, making a difference into whether they complete or not. So you can always rework that funding to maybe pay for a one-on-one hour-long, session with an advisor, as an example. Are there any other thoughts that people want to share with each other? That was great. So the incentives, anything else, like some of the other common issues, training of the teachers, transportation, workshops, financial aid, anything that anybody else wants to talk about that they're dealing with? Or again, I always like success stories too. So something great that you'd like to share?
Donna, this is Henry. We actually use an incentive of the we used the software for 15 weeks, which is the amount of time a student would go to come to OCC if they were taking a semester. And what we did is if they completed all their modules, they could move up one grade. That really kind of helped out and motivated the kids. A lot of them came to my door and was like, hey, I completed all this work. Can I get into the college level? Because we found one of their big things they wanted to do was get the college level English. They did not want to be in developmental. They hated that with a passion. So they would do pretty much anything to get the college level.
Okay. Thanks, Henry. Sabrina shared in the chat, because I know some people are called in, for a different program that they do at Brookdale. So we have a graduation party and invite the principals and the parents. Students receive certificates at the end for completion, and it's very well attended. So that's a really great way to get parents involved. That's, again, another awesome idea for partnerships with the high schools that, like, hey, it's not over. There's, this is just the beginning. And how do we get them to continue with school? So maybe they go in, they get a certificate, and maybe they get, a pad folio that says your college on it, says welcome or something. There's other things that can be done, but I think that's a really great idea. Thank you for sharing that, Sabrina. I think anything that celebrates that success for those students is really wonderful. Any other things that people need help with, have questions about, want to share? You're all doing some great stuff. Don't be shy. Share away. All right, I'm going to see who's on the call again. I see Don is on the phone. I've got an idea. Mensa, Evelyn, Jennifer. I feel like I'm on, what was that? Romper Room where you call everybody's name? Cheryl. All right, I won't force it if you don't, but please feel free to jump in if you need anything. And then continue to put some information in the chat too. That's awesome. So I will share with you just real quick for anything you're doing. So, we were talking about these marketing and getting information to parents. Maybe you're putting stuff on your website. Please make sure this is per the project agreement, that you're having this notation that I put in here, a statement about our work and the work of college readiness and the partnership with the state. So any publication needs to have the following statement. Please make sure information is very clear about where the funding is coming from so that there's no misinterpretation out there. Okay. Sorry?
Hi, Donna. How you doing? This is Mensa.
Hi, Mensa.
I just wanted the only thing I really wanted to share is that, the students that we've been working with the high school have been really engaged, and it's going well thus far.
Awesome. So how have you been getting them engaged? Can you give a hint?
Sure. So currently we are doing our math boot camps, but also the college success piece. Mm-hmm. And then we'll do the ALP more than likely in the spring as well as summer sessions. But for the college readiness piece, we kind of mimicked our UCC 101 course, which is our success course. Mm-hmm. But we've had it in realms of where various folks from various areas are coming in and touching base with the students. And so I think the key here for us is just having engaging speakers. Mm-hmm. And folks that really can relate and present to the students that we have. So that's how they've been really engaged. And we've had them back to the boot camps, which is on our campus on Saturdays. And we've only had maybe literally a handful that have not showed. So so far, so good.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mensa.
Sure.
And Essex is doing their program on a Saturday too. And some people thought, oh, that's not going to work. But Essex had great success and is continuing to do Saturdays too. And I think your point about engaging presenters, exposing students to information. So we know a lot of these students are just not aware. So just letting them know what's out there and presenting information to them, I think is awesome. I mean, we've heard from some staff that for some of these students, they have never stepped foot on a college campus before. So you bringing them there and having them meet staff and faculty. Some colleges have said that when the students then enrolled this fall, they're like, I feel so comfortable because I know people already. Like, it's an easier transition for me. It's not so scary because I met the person from career services, or I met an academic advisor already, or I met the faculty already. And so they've been exposed. And so enrolling in the fall isn't as worrisome for them anymore because you brought in some of these people that they now know and can seek out when they step foot on your campuses in the fall. So that's just some feedback I've been hearing from some of the other colleges too. So thank you, Mensa, for sharing.
Sure thing.
Any other thoughts on that, or does that help anybody go in another direction? Something they want to share that's going well? Give another idea? Okay, not a problem. You'll all have, I'm going to give you a copy of the leaders list. So you'll all have, and this is based, the leaders list that I have is based on who is written in the proposal. So you'll all have each other's emails and contact information. So as you look and see, oh, who's doing boot camps, and let me contact that person. Or, you know, I want to talk to Mensa a little bit more about his Saturday program, or I want to talk to Henry more about NROC. You can follow up individually. You don't need us to do that. So I'll make sure that you all have the leader list so that you can communicate freely among yourselves. I did want to share with you a resource. I might have shared it at a previous time, so forgive me if it's repetitive, but it's a publication that I thought could be very helpful. Let me just, about community colleges collaborating with K-12 to improve student success. So this was a publication by AACC, ACCT, and Higher Ed for Higher Standards. It's just under a little over 2 years old, but still has some good information in here for you to consider, and some case studies if you think that that would be helpful. So I'll include that as well in the in the email, so that you have another resource to refer to. And then just another reminder of the timeline. So your interim reports were due, so thank you everyone for completing those. The next interim report will be due March 1st. That'll be through SurveyMonkey again, and that will now ask for the new data. So that will be probably the biggest difference between the November one and the March one. The reason is the March one, the culmination of the March interim report is the one that needs to get sent to the state. So that's why we're going to start collecting a little bit more data at that point. And then, as I said before, the reimbursement forms, January 8th. If you have them sooner, we will gladly take them sooner. I'm sure Megan in our office will be really grateful to have, kind of pace herself a little bit with that. But again, final at the end will be August 31st. As a reminder, some people again asked for clarification. Funds need to be expended or encumbered by June 30th. So some of your programs are going into July, and that's okay if you've contracted with the faculty who's going to teach that class by June 30th. So that means it's encumbered. There's a promise of payment. But we shouldn't be buying textbooks in July. We shouldn't be purchasing anything new in July. So everything pretty much has to be expended or encumbered by June 30th, but the program, as you see, can go until August 20th. And then the final report will be August 30th. That should probably say 31st. Apologize. So everything will culminate in the summer. And then in here, I just have, again, the extra data that needs to be collected. So some great ideas that were shared. I try to pull together some data for you on what people are doing. But I'd like to ask if there's anything else that we at the center can do to assist you with your programs, or any kind of statewide support that would be helpful before we close out our time together. Anything you need? Anything you don't need? Anything that you can think of? I know sometimes it's a lot to take in right now, but anything that could be helpful? Tough crowd today. No one has anything else they want to share? All right, I know you're just starting to get going on your program, so maybe they'll.
I want to wish everybody a happy holiday.
Thanks, Henry. So I know everyone's getting started, and you're kind of in the thick of it. So again, my sincere appreciation for the work you are doing, because I get to talk to you and share ideas all day long, but you're the ones that have to implement it. So thank you for having trust in me and the process, and for believing in the accelerated learning program and really kind of running with that, and taking a chance and having faith and really working with your high schools, because it's phenomenal work. And as for some of you who recall, when Dr. Elizabeth Barnett came, she just said kudos to New Jersey, because she's not aware of anyone else doing this. And so there's just some really wonderful opportunity here for New Jersey to really be a national leader in this area, and we know it works, which is even better. So thank you so much. But I don't want to, forget about boot camps and Bridges and the other programs too. Those are having really great success as well. So thank you for doing all of the work and making it fit with your high schools and your colleges, and doing what works best for your area. And we're really super, super appreciative. So anybody have any last thoughts?
Just a quick question. Are you sending the center, the agenda that you have out as well?
Yep. Yeah, you're going to get everything I just showed you.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't go to your spam or bounce back.
Thank you.
There'll be a fair amount of attachments for you guys. Yeah. Yeah, you bet. Anything else? Questions? Thoughts? Okay. Awesome. Well, I'll stay on the line for a few more minutes if anybody needs anything, but if you need to log off, feel free to log off, and I'll hang out for a few more minutes. And let me know if you need anything along the way. I'm going to stop sharing, and